our children school, no matter how poor the schools are, we're not going to pay for a private one. If he gives us his own hospitals, we're not going to pay to build our own hospitals. If the white man is providing it because we think he's so great, we will not fund it ourselves. Black people don't really want freedom. They want comfortability under racism. Okay. If we're able to, if we were able to do that, we would be able to reduce our dependence on white structural racism, which would free us from a lot of the pain that we suffer from being dependent on white survival, being dependent on white institutions for our survival. However, even when you build that Black Wall Street, because we've had them before, Rosewood, Florida, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wilmington, North Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, and they were burned down by white people with the help of the United States government. Even when we do it, Queen, and I want to be clear, even when we do it, we will still have to fight back against white supremacy, and ultimately, and I know a lot of us don't want to, America, he damn sure ain't giving black folks their own land in America. We will have to leave at some point.
So, Doc, I kind of took that last part to mean that if we could come together as a people, we would still have a bunch of problems.
Yes.
And we would, right?
Yes. Yes.
But white folks had a bunch of problems when they took this country, didn't they?
That's right. Everyone has to overcome contradictions. Those white men in Philadelphia during that constitutional convention, folk like cats and dogs, somebody was beat to death in debating the new country that they were making. Okay, there is no utopia. China wasn't a utopia during this revolutionary period. America wasn't a utopia during this revolutionary period. And one of our contradictions in terms of black consciousness, too many black conscious people want a perfect revolution. They don't want to get involved unless you can guarantee me I'm not going to lose my job. They don't want to get involved unless you can guarantee me I'm not going to go to jail. They don't want to get involved unless you can guarantee me I'm not going to be audited by the IRS. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You have to sacrifice for freedom. Freedom ain't free. It's the most expensive thing you can buy because it might cost your blood.
But how can you theoretically even imagine freedom when you don't know what it is?
Or want it.
Or what?
We hadn't even got to imagining what freedom would look like because black people are still trying to get white people to like them. Isn't it amazing? Every time we have a problem, the first thing we say is we need to pray or vote or protest. You're trying to get white people to champion a black agenda. They will never do that. If white people didn't like you in 1619, and if they didn't like you in 1719, and if they didn't like you in 1819 or 1919, what the hell making you think they're going to like you in 2019? It is sick.
No doubt.
We gonna be free one day. Lord, oh Lord.
You're on the air with Dr. Umar. Do you have a question?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
What's your question?
You on, brother. Talk to him.
First of all,
Black and dirty.
when you're dealing with white people, understanding their culture, which is based on Machiavellianism and deception by design, you have to mirror that. White people should never know what you're thinking about them. You must be Machiavellian. You should record everything. Their culture is based on the written word. They will value the written word more than the truth. If it's written down, it's true. If it comes out of your mouth, it's a lie. So you need to write down everything. You need to conceal everything. And then the third thing, you need to be plotting your exit out of there before they put you out of there, because white people don't like to hire black folks for long-term periods of time. So you know that there will be an exit date for you. I would much rather you choose your exit date than have your oppressor choose it for you.
Is that news? Is that news?
Black power, brother, black power.
Thank you, caller. We appreciate you.
Quan's Peace and Chuck Smooth, shout out to you. Dr. Umar Johnson, Prince of Pan-Africanism. Stay up and stay away from them white girls.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. You know what? This brother, to be truthful, he was thirsty. And we got a majority of young men in this era that don't know the racial nigga. You see what I'm saying? It's this newfound slavery and this newfound oppressiveness that they're confused and discombobulated about. And when they're not, one, conscious, two, educated, they float anything over your head. How do we educate those brothers?
I think that one of the things we need to go back to is the study group movement. Social network killed the study group movement. Up until 1995, brothers and sisters would get together, watch videos, talk about it. Get together, read books, talk about it. Get together, read articles, talk about it once a week. We used to have a study group at the Marcus Garvey UNIA in Philadelphia. But when Facebook came out, people started saying, I don't have to leave my house. I can watch YouTube and get all the knowledge I want. But what they fail to realize is you're losing the value of the discourse that comes from communication and conversation with like minds and not so like minds. We got to understand that when you're watching YouTube, you can only listen to one person's narrative. But when you're in a study group atmosphere, you have multiple minds bouncing off each other. It's the same thing I say to parents who say, I want to cyber school my child, online charter school. I do not support it. Why do you not support it? Because education is participatory and communication-based and interactive. If your child is working on a subject and a question pops, he wants to bounce it off his teacher. He has to email it and wait for a response. But he's in the moment where the light went on and he needs the clarity now. You don't get that by interfacing with a computer. You only get that by interfacing with a human being. And that's why we need to go back to the study group movement, and that's why we need to put our children in real schools instead of in front of computers thinking a computer can teach a child. A computer cannot teach a child.
Dr. Umar, do you think that not just white and black, or not just black, but do you feel like social media for our people is really making it anti-social?
Good Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. predicted this almost 50 years ago. He said the growth of technology is going to put more space between black people than we have now. And with the growth of technology, it's going to be more different to forge a unity because the devices will keep us apart. Facebook keeps us apart. Twitter keeps us apart because you no longer have to share the same space and time with your brother.
And it seems like we know nothing else but fight battle, fight battle,
God.
fight battle.
You can scroll pages and pages of filth. It's a blessing because you're able to advertise. You can advertise without spending any money. I come to Detroit, I can put the flyer up, that's all I have to do. So in terms of advertising, it saves you a lot of money. Getting the word out, community events, it's a blessing. But in terms of consciousness and the ability to spew self-hate into international platform with no filter,
Can't do it.
that has been a destructive tool in the community, brother.
But Doctor, also, I mean, just like we don't own anything in America, we don't own anything in cyberspace. All these platforms that we use are owned by some other folks.
Hey, brother, you speaking to my reality. I'm suspended from Facebook for 30 days for posting my subpoena for the hearing before the State Board of Psychology Monday. Eventbrite sent me a letter and said they don't agree with my views, so I can no longer sell tickets on their platform. In Detroit yesterday, my Eventbrite account kept getting shut down time after time, which led to a lot of brothers and sisters not showing up. Okay, well, who else? Instagram is no longer allowing me to go live. GoFundMe froze my fundraiser. Look at that. Look at what they're doing to me. They're shutting me down.
We almost couldn't get on the air today.
Right.
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 And that's
Never
good.
happened before.
Never happened
In 10 years.
But I don't understand.
They're watching me, following me.
Cool. I mean, but the thing of it is, you know, just like we don't America. They tell us that this stuff is free. Oh, you can advertise. Well, this stuff ain't free. We paying a price for this because we're losing something.
That's right.
So it's really not free.
That's right. And back in psychology, we talk about almost like a translation cost. A little gap of time lost in therapy because you're not focused on your client. And when you add up all them little gaps, it can amount to thousands of clinical hours missed because you took a phone call, they took a phone call, they ran to the bathroom, somebody needed some water. That's what we fail to recognize. Whenever we use other people's systems, we're paying a little transition cost, not in dollars, but in human efficacy that we need. And that's why we have to get into the art of owning our own. But part of the reason we don't own our own, black people don't want their own. And why don't black people want their own? Because the black church has criminalized power and control. If you was raised on church, and all of us was, masjid included, when I say church, I'm speaking of all the religions, we are told from first grade, kindergarten, power, authority, control is the realm of the devil. You should not look to have power, authority, control. That is God's domain.
Why you looking at me?
Okay?
Because I was
Dr. Umar saying
I
that.
was raised like that. And with my little respect, I was raised in the church. And I was raised with the fact that the Bible says, you shall receive power. And so in my coming up, I was raised that you have the power to do the things that's necessary to make you successful.
That's
So
not as
maybe-
specific, though.
So maybe, I'm thinking maybe my world was a little different.
Your church could have been different, because it's all about the pastor. There's
Because,
exceptions.
Our church always.
but I'm just saying, that's
There's
the way I was
exceptions.
raised. I was raised to that you shall have power, and you shall, I wasn't raised that we are to be oppressed. I was raised that we are the head and not the tail. We are above and not beneath. We are the lender and not the borrower.
But you may have had a pastor with black liberation theology, but I think we would probably all agree that most black churches in America do not have a black liberation theology. They tell you that a camel will go through the eye of a needle before a rich man goes to heaven. They tell you that the poor people shall inherit the earth and the meek shall go to heaven. When you hear those lessons day in and day out, it puts you in a mindset that says being broke, being beat down, being laughed at and scoffed at by other people is actually a blessing. Too often we take the struggles of Jesus Christ himself, the beatings and the whippings and the incarcerations that Jesus had to undergo. We transpose that on the black reality and say maybe we don't need to build our own schools. Maybe we don't need to have our own hospitals. Maybe God wants us to suffer as our price into heaven. And to me, that ain't nothing but slave religion that doesn't do nothing but benefit white supremacy. Let's be clear about something, Queen. Whenever you take over another people's land, whenever you invade another country, there's three institutions you take over from the beginning. Because you won't be able to rule without the three. The schools, intellectual slavery; prison, physical slavery; and the church, spiritual slavery. And guess which one is the most important? The church. Because if you can spiritually enslave the people, you ain't even got to build no prisons, because they ain't never coming to get you anyway. They only going to get each other.
And you know what? And the slave masters used to do that for
Yeah.
their justification of whipping. The Lord said that thou did not listen, so therefore I, master, will beat thee.
And what else did they do? They mandated your attendance at church on Sunday during slavery. And guess why? Psychologically, they wanted to make sure any revolutionary energy that was pent up in you got expelled through singing and dancing and scripture reading. Had it not been for the church, there would have been more Nat Turners than Nat Turner. Had it not been for the church, there would have been more Denmark Beezies than Denmark Beezies. Had it not been for the church, there would have been more Gabriel Prosser than just the one Gabriel Prosser, because the slave master made you go to church so that that revolutionary energy could be transformed into a passive aggressiveness, because that's what church puts in black men, a passive aggressiveness. Who on earth loves their enemy? Last time I checked, you're supposed to destroy your enemy, not fall in love with him. Only black folks do that.
Is that why we be singing all together and doing that now?
Absolutely.
Let me give you something right now. Let me give you something right now. And it's amazing I'm saying this because a brother just sent me a picture from that day. Y'all remember when Dylan Roof walked into that church?
Right.
In Charleston, South Carolina. I had just flew out 2 days. I just missed. I flew back. We marched. When we marched against Dylan Roof, we came up to the church, which Denmark Beasley actually belonged to. And I believe the Dylan Roof killing of the Emmanuel 9 was on the anniversary of Denmark Beasley's intended slave revolt. So it was, that whole thing was symbolic. And I was the white boy acted alone. But this is the point I want you to get. We're black men and women marching for justice for our non-brothers and sisters. We get up to the church. Guess what we saw? Black church members and white folks holding hands, singing, "We shall overcome." In 2015, he just killed 6 mothers that cracker killed. And we're singing, "We shall overcome," holding hands with white folks with the intent of drowning out the shouts of black power from me and the other brothers. I lived to see that sickness.
Latham Grady said the church is why Nat Turner embarked upon his uprising.
I totally disagree. Nat Turner was the preacher. He wasn't in nobody else's church. And Nat Turner had a black liberation theology. Nat Turner was one of those exceptions in the church. Bishop Henry McNeil Turner was one of those exceptions in the church. The good Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was one of those exceptions in the church. Let us not lie. The black church, although it is the institution most responsible for our freedom, liberation, and progress up until the Civil Rights Bill and Voting Rights Act, since the Civil Rights Bill and the Voting Rights Act, the black church in America has reinvented itself. It is no longer the institution of agitation. It has now become a cowardly institution of accommodation.
But do you believe that's for all churches?
a Black Madonna is accepted. Remember now, I speak in black churches probably more than any other scholar. They love me because I do not have an issue with their doctrine. If your politics is strong, I'm cool. Most of the fathers of Pan-Africanism were Christian preachers. Garvey was a Christian too. So I do not have a problem with the doctrine. I only have a problem with church leaders who use the gospel to put their flock to sleep as opposed to wake them up. Every church must be judged on its own merit.
You're going to be in town tomorrow for an event. Why don't you let our audience know where you'll be tomorrow and how they can get in touch?
Yes, tomorrow, brothers and sisters, in Detroit and surrounding areas, I will be at Nandy's Cafe. Sister Nandy, Queen Mother Nandy's Cafe. She has a cafe, restaurant, books, African cultural items. I will be hosting a special education clinic for black parents. Tomorrow from 1 until 4, the address is 71 Oakman Boulevard. If anyone in the Detroit community desires a brief conversation with Dr. Umar Johnson, if you have questions about your children, come to Nandy's Knowledge Cafe in Detroit tomorrow, Wednesday, January the 3rd, from 1 p.m. until 4. From 1 until 2, I will be giving a general presentation on the miseducation of black children. And from 2 until 4, I will answer questions, help parents with their paperwork, and meet with members of the community who desire to get my input or participation on their various projects. If you have any questions about that, you can call Nandy's Knowledge Cafe at 313-865-1288. 313-865-1288. Dr. Umar Johnson, tomorrow, Detroit, Wednesday, 71 Oakman Boulevard, Special Education Clinic from 1 to 4 at Nandy's Knowledge Cafe.
And y'all want to be down there to make sure you give them support, families. You know you want to go down there and check on those badass kids. Let him help you out, give you some type of knowledge, because they are out of control.
Dr. I have a question.
Sure.
I was doing my research and I found out that you wrote a dissertation in regards to between self-concept and academic achievement. And so could you highlight some of that information, because when I tried to dig, it wouldn't allow me to dig.
And let me tell you why you were digging. The only way you found my dissertation is if you were looking to see if I was a real doctor.
No, that's not the reason why, sir. What I did was I looked at a video in regards to a rival between you and the gentleman by the name of Chet. And when he mentioned that, and I kind of disagreed with his comment, and so I tried to dig to give myself gratification of disagreeing with him.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't know he spoke on that, but I'm glad I didn't know, because I would have responded. But me and him are right now, because that was last year's beef. This year's beef is Tyree. But anyhow, okay. The reason I did my doctoral dissertation on relationship, self-academic achievement, or self-concept and academic achievement, special ed, when we evaluate these children, we skip over. We pay no attention to how they feel about themselves. We go straight to blaming their brain for why they can't read, blaming their parents for why they can't do math. You understand? Blaming poverty. And I'm meeting with kids and I'm saying to myself, the reason he's struggling, he don't believe in himself. Are you following me? So my research found that there is, in fact, a direct relationship between how a child feels about themselves and how they achieve in school. So here's the question. If a child's self-esteem has a direct bearing on their academic achievement, if your son is in a classroom being taught by a white, racist female, and she's constantly criticizing and belittling him, is it possible that his scores are suffering because of academic abuse from that white lady in the classroom?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I read this book and it said, "From my brown eyes." And it was a book in regards to the fact that this young man was in school, and his teachers had blue eyes, and he was writing this from his perspective, a brown-eyed African American that's being taught by no one that has the same color eyes as themselves. And one of the things that he mentioned in that book was the fact that how can they even relate to his fight or to his plight, because they don't even recognize the fact that his eyes is different than theirs. They don't take the time to look him in the face.
And that's exactly why I do not think black parents should put black children in white private schools. The white teacher don't have to say anything negative about black people. Just being surrounded by kids who are totally different and who are being treated like they're better enough to permanently destroy the self-esteem of any black child in a predominantly white private school. If I have to choose between keeping my child in a ghetto, quote-unquote, hood school and put them in a white private school, I'm going to choose the hood school. And why? They may have to fight to go home, but I ain't got to worry about nobody breaking their opinion of themselves. Putting them in that white school, their opinion of themselves can be broken. The research shows that teachers pay more attention to children who look like their own biological children. So if my teacher is white and her son is white with blue eyes, and I'm black hair with black skin and big lips, how much attention am I going to get in that classroom? Not much.
You absolutely telling the truth. I mean, I've experienced that with one of my sons. I'm talking about a kid that was a standout basketball player. He was an agent, 7 years old. I moved stuff, taken out life, and put my children in it. This white woman, reached the school to address this issue. The principal was a dude that I grew up in my neighborhood. He was a Milano kid, right? I protected this dude when we went up. And he said to me, when I confronted him about what was going on with my son, he said, well, we gonna bring this up, man, but you can't use the word racist. I said, what do you mean, man? I said, firstly, I'm a grown man. I mean, how can you tell me what words to use when I'm talking to you about my son and the problems that he has? When I used to protect you in our neighborhood from getting your head cracked.
You could look out for my boy.
But it's so true what you're saying, man. If I had it to do all over again, I would drive my kids to school in the ghetto. If I had it to do all over again, because what we don't, when we're looking for that higher education that we think that we're going to get, you're going to lose something way more important.
Yes.
It's absolutely the truth.
Yes.
It's absolutely the truth. And what it does to a boy is it devastating. I mean, really. This kid went from being the loudest dude to the quietest dude.
It hurt.
It hurt him bad. And then they had a white woman as his head coach. This was a white woman. This is high school now. Not saying that women aren't qualified.
Right.
But it was a double culture shock for my son. First, he never had a woman trying to tell him how to play the game. He clearly knows how to play. Wow. That's number one. Number two, she wasn't qualified. And number three, she was a racist. Oh, but I couldn't call her out as a racist because then that would make me look like I'm a racist. How am I a racist?
Right.
I'm saying she a racist. I ain't in control of nothing.
Right.
But she's in control of my son's future.
Right.
And she did what she wanted to do with it. She ruined it. That is the truth. Period.
And that's going on right now. That people feel like they taking their child to a suburban school. They coming out of this ghetto environment. They just want them to have an opportunity. But when you get in there, you just break them down piece by piece, year by year. By the time they get to high school, they just have
green contacts, head full of, you know what I mean? You see it.
Yeah.
A chocolate girl with green contacts and a blonde head because
I mean,
they destroyed a whole concept of beauty.
but you know, people, I can hear in some people's voices, and that's why I like to talk to people, because I want to hear their voices. And I notice when people say things about you out there, it's like, I haven't heard you say anything that had anything to do with being racist to no other people. I've never heard you say it. And now here you're here in our studio, and I still haven't heard you say it. And I've tried to press you into seeing if that's what your views really are. But we as black people don't understand that it is impossible for us to be racist in this land. In this land, it can't be done.
No, it can't. No, it can't.
But every time nationality exposed, I was watching a brother yesterday who was speaking negatively of you. And I listened to the dude because I knew you were coming on. And I said, well, okay, but you haven't offered up any proof.
That's right.
Give me some proof that the dude, he said, well, ask Umar what he did with the money. You show me what he didn't do with the money.
Guilty until proven innocent.
Show me what he didn't do with the money, because I heard you yesterday and you said, well, this how much money I got and this is what I'm trying to do with it.
That's right.
So if you get to the point to where somebody say, okay, man, well, here goes something for $500,000, and you turn it down, then I got to question
That's right.
where the money went.
That's right.
But right now, how can I question your money anyway, period?
And the sad thing about it, Baba, as I shared in my lecture yesterday, the number one school, if I had the money, would be the Academy of Southfield. Anybody can drive by it.
I'm aware of it.
Clean, don't need no work, extra modular units. They want 1.5. We only got 700. So it hurts because you got people talking about you stealing when you ain't even got enough to buy a small building that you do want. You see that? So they're talking about the money you got, and I'm like,
Makes sense.
I don't even got enough to get what I want to get, and y'all talking about why I ain't bought school.
But see, we have to get to the place that we understand when things don't make sense, they probably aren't true.
Exactly.
I mean, that's common sense. You're born with that. I don't have to have what you got, Doc, to understand
Yes, sir.
that.
Yes, sir.
And so can you share this, I'm saying English advocate, can you share this, do you have a 501c3?
Do I have a 501c3 in the process?
And
But you don't need a 501c3 to open a school.
What I was thinking about
but
that was,
what
you don't need a PhD either, do you?
No, you don't. And you don't need a doctorate or a school psychology certification or a principal certification.
And so also to play English advocate, I read that, number one, you have not only a doctorate degree, but you also have 2 certifications in special ed.
I have a school psychologist certification, school principal certification. I used to have a national certification in school psychology. I voluntarily gave it up because I didn't believe the National Association of School Psychologists was doing enough to keep black folks out of special ed. So I voluntarily gave it up. Okay, I also have 3 master's degrees, 1 in clinical psych, 1 in school psych, 1 in ed leadership, and I have 2 bachelor's degrees.
And so these, just because help me out with clarity, these degrees and these certifications, you went through the process of going and taking the classes.
Millersville University, Lehigh University, Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, all of them are top-ranked schools in their region. These ain't no around-the-corner schools. Like, you got to work your way through these places.
And at the end of the day, if you didn't receive a scholarship, you had to pay to go to these schools, correct?
Yes.
And then, at the end of the course, after you did your clinical, you received a certificate or a degree
A degree.
from the president or the dean or the prelate or the emeritus.
Provost, yeah.
I'm listing them all, giving you the right to have those certificates, those degrees. That's what you earned. You earned it. You got that card.
I got them at home.
Okay, and so you have them at home. And
You need to prove it.
And you
Just
have
brought
a
them with you.
signature. Right, why they ain't in your pocket? And you have
Right, put it out here live.
And this is, I'm coming to something. You have their signatures from since you work toward it, why should someone else take it away from you? Or how are they able to take it away
Well,
from
they're
you?
not, they can't take your degrees away from you ever, but they can take the certifications away. In terms of my school psychologist certification that they want to take away, and they want to prevent me from ever becoming licensed, they're claiming that I hold myself out as a licensed clinical psychologist as opposed to a doctor of clinical psychology. Now, what is the difference between a licensed clinical psychologist and a doctor of clinical psychology? The only difference is the person with the license, after they got their doctorate, they worked for 1 year full-time, 2 years part-time, under someone who's already licensed to give them supervision. And then they took their national psychology exam and their state psychology exam, and they earned the license. So you might say, well, Doc, why didn't you just go and get your license right after you got your doctorate? Number one, I didn't know black people would try to destroy me like this. Number two, the other reason why I didn't do it is because I'm so busy with what I do in the community, I wasn't willing to give white folk another year of my life. I had to give them a year for my pre-doctorate. You got to do an intern to get your doctorate, and then you got to do another one to get your license. I just wasn't interested. And part of the reason why my school psychologist certification is my expertise. Working with children is what I do. Let's say I got the license. What would that allow you to do, Tom? It would allow me to work with adults and get reimbursed from your medical insurance if I provide you with therapy or do a psychological evaluation. My expertise is in children and in special ed and in school psych. So I really didn't need the license because I don't really do anything in that area, right? But let's say I wanted to evaluate you, or you wanted me to evaluate you. I was simply get a licensed psychologist. I got an eval. I do the eval. They sign off on it. Life goes on. I do clinical work. It's just that the licensed psychologist sign off. So then you might say, Doc, why don't you just take a year off, maybe while you're building FD&G, and go get your license, right? Because at this stage of the game, all of white psychology and psychiatry knows who I am. I don't know if there's a state in America that would grant me license. Why go through all that, only to have them crack and say we ain't giving it to you anyway, at this point? You follow what I'm saying?
Well, Doc, all you got to do is give everybody some deals, and then let it
Well, see,
everybody you see, just give them some deals.
their official reason for Monday's hearing is people are complaining about you holding yourself out as something that you're not. That's the official reason, right? The real reason is they're tired of me saying that people ain't born gay. They're tired of me saying black men ain't got no business with white girls. They're tired of me telling black parents stop putting your kids in special ed. They're tired of me saying that Ritalin ain't nothing but crack. They're tired of me waking up black parents. And I believe it's beginning to cost them financially. I'm messing up the money train.
Absolutely, you are.
And that's why they want me silent. But what they fail to realize, take the paper or not, I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing.
They wanted to put my son on Ritalin and told me it wasn't even a narcotic.
Ritalin is classified by the DEA as a Schedule D drug. It is in the same category as cocaine and opium. And anyone who doesn't believe it can go to their library and look that up. Ritalin, which is methamphetamine, is in the same category as cocaine and opium.
And he's not lying, ladies and gentlemen, because I was on it when I was in the penitentiary. I had a real problem with anger and temperament.
The white boy told me that it's
Do it
not
only-
a narcotic and it only stays in the child system for 8 hours.
That's a lie.
Just give it to your son when he lets go.
No, it's
So I knew it was a lie.
How you gonna,
That's why I
check. There's only one molecule away from crack. How you gonna lock up all these black men for selling dope? And you give the same drug that sent his father to jail, you will give it to his son in school so he can sit still long enough to learn about Christopher Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
we have a
What?
caller, sister.
Yes,
Oh, we got a caller.
on the air?
Thank you for waiting.
Go ahead with your question. Go ahead, brother, he's listening. Probably because you're trying to hear yourself.
Turn your radio down a little bit.
Let me clarify first in terms of mixed race. One of the principles of Pan-Africanism is that we do not practice eugenics within our community. So if a so-called biracial African child, that being a black boy and later a girl when we open up the Girls Academy, if they have a white mother or a white father, as long as one of their parents is African, they are African and they will not be denied entry into the school. So Dr. Umar doesn't have any issues with so-called biracial children as long as they identify with their Africanity. So that will not be an issue at all. Some of the greatest Pan-Africanists were mixed race themselves. We don't believe in interracial marriage, but we do not hold the product of interracial marriage responsible for how they got here because they had no control over that. As far as white folks, yes, I can almost guarantee you that there will be a white employee or two. Why do I say that? Because number one, I don't want to get sued, okay, for discrimination, obviously. And number two, I want to make sure my boys don't get cheated out of the football games and get cheated out of the basketball games. If you need a couple white, yes, they take it out front.
But you don't get what you're trying to do, right?
And they don't let the public know how much they take. So you'll see 402,000. There's nothing that says GoFundMe fees 150,000. So people think you get that whole 400. We probably got about 275 of that.
Melanie Payne said you're correct. You were fighting the GoFundMe in the beginning.
Not only that, GoFundMe said we want to see the bank statement to make sure the money's there, and we want your contact information to your realtor in Detroit. I sent them both a couple days ago. The bank statement and the realtor info. They just wanted to call the realtor to make sure I was really looking for school, and the bank statement to make sure I didn't touch none of the money. How about I sent them both, and they still shut it down? It was never about the truth power. They were to shut me down.
Yeah. But you know, that's, he was just making sure you were doing business with his cousin. That's all. And then when he in fact found out that you were, then that wasn't good enough. He shut you down.
But I can't blame racism all the way, Bobby, because who were the people complaining to GoFundMe that I was a fraud and that I was stealing and that the account was a farce? Black people. It was my own people that got GoFundMe stopped. It was my own people that got me brought up on charges with the State Board of Psychology. It was my own people that have gotten me audited. These are black people who have done it. Just like they took Marcus Garvey to the government, jealous W.E.B. Du Bois, and jealous A. Philip Randolph and the rest of them Negroes went to the government on Marcus Garvey and begged the white man to get rid of their brother. That's the same thing these coons doing to me in 2018.
It's absolutely disgraceful, man. And
I don't understand the concept of why you cannot have a GoFundMe because GoFundMe, people put the craziest
Yes, they do.
things on GoFundMe.
To get money for.
Like people who know that you need some life insurance, and you know you need some life insurance. You will go buy a $5,000 TV. You will go put hundreds of dollars on your kids' feet. You will go buy $1,000 outfit, but you will not go and buy no life insurance. But then when your loved one passed, you want to go on GoFundMe want the world to pay to bury your
And I agree with her on that. Don't you feel like that may be some type of way that we think that we're going to come up? I mean, if your son out there doing armed robberies, why you out there doing armed robberies when you ain't got no damn health insurance? I mean, no life insurance.
So even
I mean, let your family at least come up if your dumb ass that got killed doing something stupid.
Y'all done went
off. To go to that, there was even a write-up about a lady who obtained $1 million from a lottery. And when she obtained $1 million from the lottery, her boyfriend went to jail, and she literally had to pay all of that money to keep him out of jail. And she went to GoFundMe because now she needed a home. She lost her home. And so my thing is, you mean to tell me GoFundMe is going to allow her to keep a GoFundMe page but won't allow you to keep a GoFundMe page to build the school?
The difference is,
Right.
in none of them cases you named, I don't think their own people were complaining to GoFundMe every single day, writing letters. There's a woman on YouTube, she has a whole page dedicated to destroying me, where she has a tutorial video on
Was
how...
she like you?
She doesn't show her face. She doesn't show her face. She has a whole tutorial on how to report Dr. Umar to GoFundMe.
But Dr. Umar, I know that you knew before you went on this journey. I know that you knew
Right.
what these sources will try to do.
Yeah.
I think the surprising part is the percentage of your own people that are involved.
Yeah. I'll give you something else, Bob. There's a lot of brothers and sisters who are coming to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on Monday to support me with the hearing. Guess what? I have detractors going too.
Right.
Not necessarily to speak against me in the hearing, but to be there in hopes that I lose my paperwork. Yes.
But if you lose your paperwork, are these people so stupid that they don't understand?
You're hurting our kids. Because that paperwork gives me the ability to change misdiagnoses. You hurting our kids. And they're willing to destroy our children just to get at me.
So why are they so mad at you, if you know?
Let's deal with GoFundMe first of all.
Now I'm talking about your people.
Exactly. One of the reasons they have been trying to get GoFundMe to shut me down, they've now been successful as of yesterday, I think, is because many of these Negroes have had their own GoFundMe accounts for various hotep reasons. And most of them haven't been able to raise more than $5,000 or $10,000. They look at my page and say, this man got almost $500,000. That breeds jealousy. Why would y'all give him this much and y'all only gave me this or that? But what they thought to recognize, Baba, none of you were trying to build an institution. Your GoFundMe was to get a new car or to build a new conscious library 4 years or to fly around and teach people. It wasn't about the people. It was about you. So jealousy, Baba. Jealousy at the love that my people have for me, number one. Now, let's talk about overall. When you look at all the conscious personalities, because most of them are not scholars, most of them do not have degrees. They're self-taught scholars, which is fine, because I believe anybody can teach.
Absolutely.
None of them have my credentials. None of them have my oratorical skills. None of them have my international platform. None of them get the love that I get from black people. None of them have a support base as diverse as mine that goes from 8 to 80 years old. Jealousy, Bob. When I came into the international scene back in 2010, I had been lecturing since 2000 when I became a school psychologist. But in 2010, everything changed. That's when I really exploded because of a Chicago TV interview I did and a lecture in Harlem. Them two things happened September 18th and Halloween night of 2010. Overnight, the world knew who I was. I just kind of kicked open the door, took over. A lot of people's egos suffered because of that. Because I was the new kid on their block, okay? And I went straight to the top. And people were saying stuff like, is he an agent or is he a fraud? Where did he come from? How did somebody come out of nowhere and just steal the shine like this?
They don't ask that about their pastors.
I know. One brother who's very famous in the conscious to me, I'm not going to call his name, he told somebody in 2011, don't worry about him. He's just the new face right now. He's going to pop for a minute, and then he's going to die off. That was 7 years ago. I'm still number one. But I don't do this to be number one. I do this to make a difference for God's number one people, and that's us. And the problem with my detractors, Baba, is they can't see the sincerity of my work because they're so caught up in my degree.
Well, doctor, maybe they don't want you telling them that they God's number one people. Why don't you just say the people? Because they don't want to.
They don't want to be number one.
No, they don't want to be number one.
Dr. Umar, a lot of the people on Facebook are asking, what is the address to send donations?
Donations can be sent payable to FDMG. That is an acronym for Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. You can spell it out if you like, or you can just put FDMG Academy. P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19132. I repeat, FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia 19132. Make sure your name, your mailing address, your phone number, and your email is either enclosed with the donation or on the donation. Please don't send cash if you can help it, because I want to keep track of every donation. When we finally open up the school, which will be soon, because August 21st, 2019 is the date. August 21st, 2019 is the date, because that is our 400th anniversary, Baba. 1619 to 2019. That is our 400th anniversary under white oppression. That's the day the school gonna open. But before that day comes, I'm gonna have a reception to honor everyone who donated to FDMG, with special honors to those who donated a lot to FDMG.
I don't want, brother. I'm starting to worry about you. With the people engaging in the kind of thing, you're moving around kind of freely. And, I was watching last night, I was monitoring the event.
There was security there.
Yeah, it was.
There was security.
Oh, yeah.
I always have security at all my events. I always have my security whenever I'm making like a public appearance. But in terms of my travel, I'm not at a point where I'm comfortable enough to have a regular security team travel around with me as the minister does. But as you can see, his son, Mustafa, is in charge of that security team. So you can't get to my daddy unless you come to me. I don't have a son, I have two daughters. And when I study our great leaders, Bob, nearly everyone was betrayed from within his security team. Malcolm X.
That's the truth.
Dr. King.
Yeah.
Ed Hampton. Patrice Lumumba. I can go on and on. Nearly every great was betrayed by the security. My security protects me from white supremacy. Who the hell gonna protect me from my security? I feel safer, Baba, flying alone, driving alone, until I get into the city, then I meet my security. But I ain't had good luck with brothers. Most of the brothers I done met these 7 years, most of them, they quick to turn jealous, man. They quick to turn jealous. Yesterday I was online.
What about those you grew up with?
If they're not in jail or dead or can't be found, I would need to find some of them. But my day ones from North Philly, that's not a bad idea. I might need to call on some of them.
You say
If they're not on probation, and you know what I mean?
You say you were online and what?
And it was a sister from London, England, who wanted to invite me there to speak. She got on my page and called me a fraud and said I was stealing money. But she's mad I didn't go to London. It was another sister from Ohio who was a member of my parent association. She quit because she didn't want to do any work. She made a joke against me in support of that other coon. In other words, Tommy Sotomayor, another idiot, he texted me and wanted an interview about the beef I'm having with Goddess Nashida. And I didn't give him his interview, so he did a whole live feed condemning me. I'm bringing this up because I want you to know that nearly every hater, they're not an innocent hater or a sincere hater. They're angry for a reason. I'm angry because you won't let me take money off you. I'm angry because you won't date me. I'm angry because you won't give me an interview. Nearly every hater I got has a personal, selfish reason for why they do not like me.
Do you know James P. Cooper, the sixth, just got on my thing and said fraud.
I don't know.
Fraud.
In fact, most of my
But tell him.
Yeah, why don't you just call him up?
Tell him to tell us why.
Why do you think he a
What
fraud?
did he do?
because somebody
Well,
told him
while
I
he's
was.
trying to figure that out, Stefan Terrell is a barber here in Detroit. He said he wanted to let you know if you ever need services here in the city. He's a young black man and actor, so look him up.
Appreciate you, brother.
So, Dr. Umar, where will you be staying when you, come and build a church, build not a church, build a school in, Detroit?
I would have to figure that out. That's why I asked yesterday in the book time. I asked people where should I live if the school ends up in Detroit. So y'all would have to help.
Oh, that's why they were saying the west side, east side.
East side.
You used to live in the Boston Edison area.
Yeah, that's a good area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Dr. Umar, when I say these words, tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Then we're gonna get Sandman's question, and then before we get out of here, 'cause
2 weeks ago.
and you see the video there, we can have you come on in, Google Hangout. Yeah, just keep that in mind. But anyway, so the first word I'm gonna say is the Honorable Marcus Garvey.
Greatest black leader of the 20th century.
ADHD.
Fraud.
Tariq Nasheed.
Manipulator and exploiter of black consciousness for personal gain.
Boyce Watkins.
Swagless penguin midget.
Black women.
Love of my life.
Umar.
Uncompromising.
January 8th.
Crucifixion.
Detroit.
My second home.
And last, Aquarius.
My mother's sign.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
We are good people. We are good people. Thank you very much.
Is that stuff real?
I don't know, but I told Dr. Umar my birthday was February 5th, and I was making sure he loved Aquarius.
Did it say happy Aquarius?
No, he's supposed to say happy.
Yes,
Go ahead,
indeed.
Sandman.
Listen, sound like I need to turn this mic.
No, you good.
I'm sounding
You
low.
sound good.
Dr. Umar, my question is, and this is something that is addressed, but people don't address it in the proper way, and I think it's a purely disrespect to us as black people. Now, I got a paper here with a list of civil rights leaders, and I want to know, are you familiar with a couple of them out of this whole array of people out of just for civil rights for black and struggles? Now, here's something, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that I'm going to give you the names of and see if you can relate to their struggle.
All right.
Harry Hay, from 1912 to 2002. He's an early leader in the American LGBT rights movement of the founder, Machina Scene Society.
Not interested.
Harvey Milk.
Well, I know Harvey Milk. Another gay leader.
Marsha P. Johnson.
No.
Gay liberation activist, star co-founder, AIDS activist with ACTA. Will Roscoe.
Sounds familiar.
He's American gay rights activist. And Stephen Goldstein. He is American gay rights activist and a political activist. Now, the reason I call these names out is you see right here, it's listed here, a list of civil rights leaders. How can you just destroy all these people's work? And just these number of people have created such a movement. It's like all this is what? I mean, you say it's civil rights, or that's what they say, but I look at it as a civil choice. What do you think about that?
I agree. Unfortunately, the homosexual agenda has become so powerful, and it's ironic that a black president made it so. In Barack Obama, he's the only president in America
Thank you.
to openly champion LGBT freedoms and equality, that they have been able to eclipse the black agenda with the homosexual agenda. In fact, black people are basically being told that if you don't support gayness, identify with being gay before they identify with being black. So we're fueling that movement against our own selves because a white person can be gay, but they're still a white supremacist. A gay white that's over race.
And I feel that that's absolutely right because you feel like if I give up my identity, if I give up my rights, if I'm already fighting for civil rights, but if I just give up this, maybe I'll be accepted in this world, and you will never be accepted in this arena.
Never did. And I think it's also ironic that when you study slavery, homosexuality was something that was introduced into our community through white slaves. Okay, it's in the slave record. It's not a lot of it there because a lot of black men who were victimized didn't want to admit that as a thing against their manhood. And then when I look at black women with the feminist movement, another so-called minority issue that they're using to eclipse the black agenda with, I find that the black woman's unification with the white woman to be rather odd, since the white woman was the black woman's major opponent on the plantation. It was the white woman who made her husband sell your babies away to prove that he had no affection for them. It was the white woman who made her husband beat the hell out of the black woman to show that he was not in love with her. The white woman was extremely insecure about the black slave woman, and so here we come 150 years later, now she's your best friend.
Or your man.
Or your man.
she, sir.
Can I enroll my homosexual niece into the school?
Sure. I don't mind if gay children come to my school because I am of the opinion that there are no gay black children, only confused black children.
And they try to make you seem like that you're going against just that.
Exactly. Bring him.
Not cool.
You gay, come on in. By the time he's done learning what it really is to be a black man, he's going to love it so much. He'll never want nothing else but his natural, God-given gender identity. There you go.
In your opinion, doctor, in your opinion, is the black church a
parasite? It's an economic parasite.
I'm not even going to ask the question.
That's what
I couldn't even get the question.
It is a black church is an economic parasite. It takes too much from us and gives us almost nothing in return for it. Tangible. There is no admission fee to heaven. There is no admission fee for death. There is no admission fee to save souls. So an institution that doesn't need money to do the work that it does, why does it take so much and give back so little? The money that these mega churches are making and raising, but you ain't got a bank, a school, a supermarket, or a hospital, that's unacceptable.
You know,
But
I'm
there are exceptions.
I'm almost jealous of you.
There are
There are
exceptions.
exceptions.
There are.
No, see, he
And
done made
all
me jealous.
churches
I understand that if that school sits in America and it's getting funding, it teaches what America wants to be taught.
Not necessarily, because
Don't tell me a school that don't.
for example,
I don't know of any church
for example,
with a school that teaches any sort of a black power theology to its students. I don't know of one. That might be an exception, but I don't know of one. And I've been...
professing faith, believe in teaching their children about their race.
I
They
didn't,
do.
well,
They do.
Yeah,
I mean, what are we talking about? Basic black history, or are we really talking about making unapologetically African black boys and girls? Like, what are we talking about? A couple pictures from February? Like, and I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying that we can't confuse true schools that are focused on black liberation with schools who have a superficial acculturation to blackness. There's a big difference there.
yes.
Dr. Umar, my sister is a psych nurse in Northtown.
Northtown, Pennsylvania?
Yes, and she
Right
said,
outside of Philly.
yes, she
What
said.
she look like? I'm just kidding.
She said, ask if he has any connection to Philly. I want to move into a practice manager position.
Give him my cell number.
Okay, he said, give you.
And by the way, I give everybody my cell number because it's the public number. FBI got it. You should have it. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Last time, 215-989-9858.
Doctor, them gay folks gonna call you and press you.
I don't answer the phone, but you can send me a text, man.
You're on the air with Dr. Umar. What's your question?
there.
Oh, no, it ain't gonna happen
Yes,
today, bro.
Whoa.
No.
Bye, bruh.
He's a child, and Dr. Umar
Yeah.
he be crying.
He called us last week and said
When
he
you was
had
on
a
air.
bunch of dead niggas in his basement. What should he do with them?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He's about 12 or 13 years old.
Call my show too. Tripping. 313-865-1288 is the number, and also your new book.
Psychoacademic Holocaust.
You can also get that book for $20, and you can get it by going to drumarjohnson.com.
Now, Dr. Umar, before we get out of here, if you had the ear and attention of every single black person right now, what would you say to them? What would be your message?
I would say that we have been marked for extermination, and the only people who control whether it happens or not is ourselves. And the way we are able to fight back against that extermination through a personal campaign is to focus on education and economics, schools and banks. With those two things, we can change this whole situation around. And no matter what else we build, without those two things, we will never fix our situation. Education and economics is the only way out of this.
Now, my last question. Sorry. If you were to lose, it was, but then I forgot I asked another question. If they were to take your credentials from you on Monday, what's your next step, or what do you feel will be your next move?
I keep going. Nothing changes. In fact, I'm going to go even harder. And I don't even know if I can go harder than I go hard all the time. But, it'll hurt me for a little bit because, I've identified as being a school psychologist for almost 20 years. I love doing it. I love helping our kids. I love taking misdiagnoses off of babies. And for the kids who do need special ed, I love getting them the services that they need. The blind and the deaf and the autistic and the truly intellectually disabled. But, I drop the tape, keep on going. The race is not for the swift, it's for the bold.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Well, that was our show today on Vent Radio with Dr. Umar Johnson. What did you think about the show?
I enjoyed it.
Did you have fun? Because we believe in letting you have fun up there. Yeah.
Awesome.
It was a pleasure to meet you and to feel your spirit.
Yes.
It was really pleasure.
Very good.
I understand the kind of pressure you're under going in front of them crackers in their courthouse. I've been there, but let me tell you something, brother. They may possibly can take that piece of paper. They can't take what's in your head. And if they in fact take that paper, you're going to get bigger. That's what's going to happen. So you'll be all right, man. It don't matter. One way or the other, you're going to be all right. Because if they take that paper, man, you're going to get larger. So at least you ain't fighting for your life.
That's right.
I fought for my life. So walk up in there, man, and do what you got to do. And however it comes out, keep being Umar.
That's right. You got plenty of love here in Detroit and all around the world.
And when you come into the area and you need some help before you get to a venue or whatever, call us, man.
I'm going to do that.
Call us.
Yeah.
Do that.
Take care of you.
Appreciate it.
And you ain't got to worry about trusting.
Appreciate that. Yes, sir.
So, Dr. Umar, can I give you my tagline?
Sure, baby.
They don't like my tagline.
What's that say? What's that say?
Wait a minute, this ain't in its
It's
own.
still my tagline.
Oh, she's
It's still my tagline. First of all, Dr. Umar, I want to ask that you don't surrender your vision and your life is for them because you earned them. And it means something to somebody who struggled in college or to see another man or see another African American. I was the first one in my family to obtain a degree. So it means something. It means something to see another man, a black man, that has did their due diligence and sought higher education and is using it to build up the black community. So I'm asking that you don't surrender, that if they take it, they have to take it back to it because you earned it, and you earned it in the right way. you didn't get an honorary degree, you earned it. And so let them take that which they think that they may belong with.
Yeah, that is it.
And you see this,
Dr. Umar, how did it feel?
They don't want to let you go.
It's kind of important thing to ask him, though. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
and the sister, she just brought up a hell of a point. How many black men do we have? Forget about to care about us as a people. We ain't going there. How many black men do we have that have a degree to do what he does? Not many.
Very few blacks.
And they know that.
Right.
So, let's take his paperwork. And them black folks really ain't gonna have, no, he's gonna get bigger, white boy. That's what's gonna happen. You may as well leave this man alone and let him do his work. Because if you take the paper, he's going to get bothered. And more people are going to help him. It's just that simple. I
We
believe
can
that.
help now because I went on that site and got the email. Because the pen is not in the store, and you can talk all you want.
Well, you have to
But
direct me.
until you put it down on paper, and for them to see it on paper, they need to see it, like you said. And so, we text and we chat, and I took the time to say, you know what? This is important for me to go on that site, and to send it to me, voicing how I felt. That if you earned it, if you went through the due diligence to obtain your doctorate degree and obtain the certification, you have people that have killed, you have murderers, you have pedophiles, you have all type of people who have a doctorate degree. And if you're not gonna take their degree, then you shouldn't be taking Dr. Umar's degree.
and I'm gonna roll up with this one. If a person's got that much energy, that work for you, my brother. You see, they doing the work for you. You just might not like the way they say it, but you just put so much effort to just let the world know you don't like it.
If you want to call to show your support for Dr. Umar, you can contact the PA State Board of Psychology, attention Vito J. Don Giovanni, attention Vito J. Don Giovanni, attention Catherine S. PhD. That's what it says. You can send it to
He run around with Mr. Sachi, ain't he?
P.O. Box 2649, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 17105, or you can call 717-783-7155. That's 717-783-7155.
And when you call that number, you can ask for an email address, because I asked for an email address, because I wanted to have it on record that I support Dr. Umar Johnson.
Y'all hear that music? That's letting y'all know we're about to round it up and round it out. Our special guest today was Dr. Umar Johnson. We really appreciate you being in the city of Detroit. We really appreciate you being here on bitradio.net. We hope to see you again anytime you want to come to the house. Just knock on the door. We got you. We got you. It's your man, the one and only MrSan44Man, Detroit Raw Live. I'll see y'all in 48 hours. We appreciate y'all coming out.
I don't know what
48 hours. I will see y'all out here. bitradio.net. Y'all have a good New Year's. Happy New Year to everybody.
That was strong.
Well, we sure don't believe in being weak up here.
I heard that.
Say my tag.
Sonya, we're gonna say?
April 15th.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to say it.
You were supposed to say my tagline.
Okay, y'all, we out of here. Thank you for tuning in. Your man, I'll see y'all 48 hours. Detroit Raw Live and bitradio.net.
So we don't have to say, you can do it right in your phone, and I can take it out of your phone.
Send me a phone,